What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of VYPE Recruit Spotlight. Obviously, today we're missing our main host, Josh W. But tonight or today, I'll be your host and co-hosted by Ashton Lux as well. Ashton, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
Doing good. It's a busy week here at VYPE. Winter Media Days picking back up, and recruiting's definitely been picking up around the state of Texas for sure. As we've got a lot of teams playing really well. You saw University of Texas put up 49 points up against OU and shut them out in the Red River rivalry game, which a lot of people did not expect that. I think this is going to have big implications on recruiting. So let's start there. What are your thoughts kind of on that Texas beatdown of OU with a lot of I think one of the a lot of the big recruits there, including Derek Lagway Jr. and other names at this game. So what were your initial thoughts after watching that game?
Obviously 49 to nothing. I think coming into the game, everyone kind of had UT as their favorite. I mean, with Quinn Ewers coming back and seeing how efficient and effective he is on the field at all times, UT is definitely a different team with him on the field. But 49 to nothing, I honestly, that was not my prediction and nowhere near close to my prediction. But to kind of touch on the recruiting standpoint of it, I mean, like you said, there's a lot of big time recruits there, but I think the one that's standing out right now that everyone's kind of talking about is obviously Arch Manning trying to get Colton Vasquez to flip. I mean, especially after that game getting beat down 49 to nothing. I mean, he immediately took to social media, and there's a few photos of him throwing up to hook him. So I guess we'll see how that works out. But I mean, that's the one that stands out to me at the moment.
Yeah, I think that one is definitely the name I would kind of circle as Texas fans. He's from Austin. Probably grew up a Texas fan, as most of those Austin native guys are, and I think that it's going to be very interesting. You could see him flip. It's going to be interesting to see how Venables tries to keep some of these guys, especially in the state of Texas, to stay with Oklahoma. As you watch that game, that's kind of the main schools that most of these kids are picking from between Texas and OU, and I mean A&M, but A&M's not playing OU in Texas. OU and Texas are playing that rivalry game, and to see who comes out always kind of helps boost your recruiting. So I think that was a big game. But other than that, let's kind of go into also we could talk about Alabama Texas A&M game. Obviously, this was a big one for recruits as well. Yeah, I think it was like 7.1 million people watching that game, tuning into it. Lots of big time names were at that game. How do you think that recruits are respond to a? Obviously, it's a loss for a team like A&M and a win for a team like Alabama, but overall, it was a really hard fought game. You could see lots of these young, talented players on the field already. What do you think this does for both of those programs and recruiting aspects?
I mean, for Bama, I think it kind of shows that hey, like obviously we're down a quarterback right now. Bryce Young's out. We've got a young Jalen Milrow coming in. That despite whatever adversity is coming our way, that they still figure out a way to win. Nick Saban is still Nick Saban. But on the flip side, I think this is a huge get for A&M. I mean, only losing by 4 points to arguably one of the greatest coaches, maybe the greatest college coach of all time, especially with Jimbo Fisher still calling the plays, which everyone's been on him for. And the fact that Jimbo called what some call a perfect game, except the final play where you could argue is a miscommunication between Haynes King and Evan Stewart. It's going to be a huge get for A&M. I mean, you've got, like we were talking earlier before the show, I mean, you've got numerous amounts of freshmen playing. You're staying within 4 points of this game with the greatest college football coach of all time. And it's just going to allow you to continue to recruit the state of Texas, especially with a lot of these younger classes coming up. And the 2023 class, I mean, they're almost going to be here soon. We graduate soon. So, I mean, you got guys like Anthony Hill still recruiting for you. And especially right now, I mean, Peyton Bowen and all of them with the whole Notre Dame class and a lot of guys from Westlake. And that class is kind of, I don't want to say exploding and kind of dismantling in front of them, but I mean, that's the talk right now. So when you've got guys flipping, especially this close to signing day, it's going to have a lot of ratifications amongst it.
Yeah, I think it was a very important game for A&M to show that, hey, we're still here. Obviously, A&M took a couple tough losses. You lose to Mississippi State, who right now is playing really good football. I'm very interested to see them take on Bama. They whooped Arkansas last week, but you lose to Mississippi State, App State, and now you take a tough loss to Bama. I think the Bama game is the one that really stands out because you saw, I believe they played 24 freshmen all year. Most of those freshmen were playing and against the number one team in the country. I think that's a very attractive thing to recruits to see. Hey, you get to play at the top level. If you are that dude, you're going to get some playing time. You're going to get to play against the Alabamas of the world. You're going to get to play against those teams. And I think you're starting to see A&M figuring themselves out on the defensive side of the ball. You saw Cam Dewberry for the first time this past week, who made a huge impact when he was in the game. Very excited to see him. You had Donovan Green from the Houston area catching his first touchdown. So I think from a recruiting standpoint, A&M, this really will maybe help A&M to show that they're right there, and one more good recruiting class might be able to do the thing and do the damage for them. From an Alabama standpoint, obviously it's as we know about Alabama, it's reload every year. Though Bryce Young goes down, the Heisman Trophy winner Jalen Milroe wins the game. Even though it might not have been the prettiest win, he had some turnovers. He's able to get the win, and I think that's the most important thing. When you look at Alabama, they're just able to reload, and next guy up has to be ready. So I think those were two great big matchups that really a lot of recruits were maybe keying in on. I know TCU Kansas game as well was one to watch. So as of right now, I think all the Texas schools are really playing really well, trying to and showing these recruits what they got. So it's going to be very interesting. But now let's kind of switch gears. Let's get back to kind of what's been going around the state of Texas. Obviously, we haven't been on the show for 2 weeks. So Ashton, what kind of news do you got for this week?
So to just kind of go down offers first, we had talked about three-star safety Braylon Conley getting an offer from Houston. Houston has been recruiting really deep in this in the state of Texas. Obviously, Houston, the greater Houston area, one of the better areas to come live. Well, at least that's what some of the people say, especially with Houston building a new plaza, getting a lot more money with recruiting. They're going to be able to recruit a lot more kids and especially keep a lot more kids. So CJ Johnson from Paetow also got an offer from Houston. And then to kind of stay closer to home, Oak Ridge, Justin Williams receives two offers from Oklahoma State and Ole Miss. And then to transition over to the Judson area, Oklahoma commit Anthony Evans received an offer from Oregon.
Yeah, and we were talking kind of before the show. This Justin Evans, obviously, he's tweeted out saying, "Nah, he's locked in." You saw Colton Thomason from A&M try to kind of say, "Hey, it's flip. Come over and join the Aggies, man. We're ready for you." And you see him still locked in with OU, but it's going to be very interesting for a lot of these OU commits as they've got a really good class right now. If they're going to keep him, like we were talking about, Colton Vasek from Westlake. Anthony Evans, I think, is another one of those names that you if you're OU and you're Coach Venables, you better hope that you can keep this kid committed and signed once it comes signing day. But to kind of go off of what you said, Ashton, some of the things I got for the week. Four-star DB Braylon Conley picks up Louisville, Houston, and TCU and Utah in the past 2 weeks. It's been a big week for him. His recruitment's really been ramping up as Atascocita's 5-1 right now, and he's a big part of that defense. We've got Oak Ridge running back Frankie Arthur picks up an offer from Baylor. He's been playing really well this season. He's been RB1 for the War Eagles this year. He's been a big piece of their offense as they kind of go in spurts in the passing game, but in the rushing attack, he's really been able to kind of take the reins and take over there. We've also got obviously Derek Lagway Jr. picks up an offer from Miami. We know Derek dropped his top 10 not too long ago. Miami maybe a little late to the party, but they give him an offer. I think that's might be an interesting development, maybe coming down the road as he's already traveled a lot to Florida before. But other than that, the last three things I got are Justin Stevenson from Paetow, class of 2023 receiver, picks up an offer from Wyoming. That's a big get for him. It's one. I believe it's either one of or maybe his second D1 group of five kind of offer. That's a big get for Justin. He runs a 4.4 40 speed. So very exciting to see his recruitment start to pick up here. You've got the Woodlands, Mitchell Blakesley, the athlete who can play O-line, D-line, can play tight end. He commits the Air Force. That's huge for him. I believe he might be used more on the tight end side of the ball as he's 6'5", 250, can run a 4.5 40. But he's playing DN for the Woodlands and having a great year so far. And then obviously we talked about Justin Williams, a 4-star linebacker, picks up Ole Miss and Oklahoma State. I think you're going to see Justin Williams kind of blow up here towards the end of the season, the offseason. I think he's going to be the same type of number one linebacker in the state that you see start to really blow up. So those are kind of the things I got for recruiting across the state. And Ashton, do you have anything else?
So to kind of close things off, we had briefly mentioned it. 4-star DN and Northwestern commit at this time, Ashton Porter, did go on an official visit to Michigan State. I really think that with the, I don't want to say shaky, but rocky start for Northwestern, it's really gonna, and especially that Northwestern class really did surprise a lot of people over the summer. I mean, they got a few commits, especially from Texas. I mean, that group is really tight knit. So not saying that I'm not going to start saying that Ashton Porter is going to decommit or anything, but with him going to go visit other colleges, it's going to allow all these other commits to start to go venture off and see what else is in store for them. I mean, with 40 plus offers, it's really hard to not want to go venture out, and especially with a really rocky start.
Yeah, and I think Ashton, I'm not really sure who Ashton works out with in the offseason. Obviously, Michigan State's got Coach Jordan, who used to be a trainer down kind of in the Houston area, trained a lot of NFL talent, trained a lot of defensive linemen in the Houston area as well. So that could be an interesting development there between Ashton and Michigan State. The one last thing I forgot about was class of 2024 Hightower running back Jeremy Payne picked up an offer from Arizona State last night. That's a big get for him as he's kind of been banged up this season, hasn't really seen a lot of the field, but definitely one of the top running backs in the area. So definitely will be one to watch out for this offseason as he hasn't really gotten to play much his junior year. But Ashton, now we're going to switch it over to one of our favorite segments, our interview for the week. And Ashton, I know that you kind of hooked us up with this interview this week, so I'm going to let you take it away and kind of do a little introduction for it.
So this week, our interview will be with Deyjhon Pettaway, a Paetow cornerback. He is a part of the 2025 class, and when they came out with the rankings for 24/7 not too long ago, he quickly jumped up as a composite 5-star, top 25 in the nation, best cornerback in the state, best cornerback in the country, second best in the state. And I mean, obviously the film speaks for itself. This Paetow team, they've been on their ups and downs, especially with the move up to 6A after winning the 5A state championship last year. With a little bit of a rocky start and a really loaded district over there in Katy, I think for the years coming, Deyjhon is going to be one of those guys that are really going to help, and we're really excited to get him on for the show.
Yeah, and why don't we send it over to you and Deyjhon right now?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the VYPE Group Spotlight. I'm here with 2025 Paetow cornerback Deyjhon Pettaway. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. Feeling good.
Well, I'm always glad to hear that, man. So to kind of just jump right into it, to start from the beginning, you came into Paetow last year as a young freshman. While you may not have seen a whole lot of playing time on the state championship team, you were able to learn and grow under some great players. Even now, some of your older teammates, especially on the defensive side, are beginning to commit to some major Power 5 schools. Mm-hmm. What is it like being able to learn and grow alongside some of those great players?
It's just like it helps me develop as a player too, because obviously I'm seeing them grow and they're giving me advice too on things and how I should treat the recruitment process. So it really is just like a plus. It's just like helping me with everything, and they're gonna continue helping me even when they're at college level, because we build that bond. So they're always gonna have my back. I'm always gonna have theirs.
So over the summer, you were able to travel and have a pretty big camp summer. Your first offer came from Ole Miss, then it was followed by Texas A&M, LSU, and UTSA. Not long after that, you were ranked a 5-star. What is it like? What does it feel like receiving these high rankings and offers so early on in your career?
Well, of course, it feels great and amazing that like coaches see me as a great player. But honestly, it's just like it feels normal, like I'm a regular football player because I've been working on this stuff, like my craft and all these things, and trying to be better as a player and as a student. So when I got these things, it was kind of like I've been working for it. So obviously they came early on and I really wasn't expecting that, but it's also a plus. So, you know,
So, like you said, you continued working. What is a over the summer? What does a typical workout day or workout regimen look like for you and your team?
well, we have this thing called SAT camp, and we go in early and we do our like our plays and go over everything. And well, during summer it was over a learning process. 'Cause we got new coaches, and they were teaching us like the new system, how we're gonna run things, and we just went over that. And then we'll do a little bit of scrimmaging against our offense, and he'll still our coach will evaluate us during that time, and then after we'll do the weight room, and we'll obviously get some conditioning in, and that was our everyday thing during the summer.
So, to kind of dig further into the recruiting process, with the few offers under your belt now, how has the process been speaking to all these coaches?
The process has been smooth. I haven't had any problems, and uh, a lot of these coaches, they have been teaching me stuff also during the process, like telling me what I can do to improve and what they want to see and stuff like that. So when they tell me those things, I focus on those and on top of my stuff that I'm also working on.
So, after a great summer, a lot of accolades, what was your mindset coming into your sophomore year to match the status that you and your team have been given, especially now that y'all are at a 6A level in a loaded Katy district?
Well, my mindset has been was because I got these offers and stars. My mom was just being prove it, just to prove it, to prove that why I got all these things. It's not for no reason or my speed. So my whole mindset was just prove it. So prove to these guys, get on the field and show them that I can really play at the next level.
So, you're at the last half of district play now. You're 2-2. What are you and your team talking about on how to make sure y'all get back on track and make the playoffs?
We're just talking about winning each day. Every time we get out there, we're hustling on and off the field. It's just the little things. We've been working on little things a lot lately, and we just really focusing on executing in the game and not slacking off. Like there's a lot of slacking off that was going on, but we're working on fixing those little things that's been costing us these games.
Do you have anything else that you would like to say to maybe people that who may be doubting you and your team?
I mean, all I gotta say is like y'all gonna see it. Y'all can doubt me all y'all want, but y'all gonna see it. Film says it all.
Well, Dejan, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you, man. Good luck tomorrow against Cinco Ranch and have a great day, man. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. No problem.
Ashton, what a great interview that was with Deyjhon Pettaway. Thanks for hooking us up with the interview. Obviously, a big time recruit in the Houston area, class of 2025. But now we're going to get to our favorite segment of the day of our show, and that is our under the radar athlete. And Ashton, I'm going to turn it over to you. Let you start first.
So my under the radar recruit of the week is, and I'm going to mispronounce this, so my apologies ahead of time. Haas Haney, a junior Alito quarterback. When watching Haney, it does not take long to understand why he is one of the harder quarterbacks contained in the 5A. While he may fall on the smaller side at 5'11" and 170 pounds, he makes up for it everywhere else. Just watch the film. He can throw the deep ball while making it look effortless. He is smart with the rock. He can move around the pocket, but also stay poised and under control when the pressure is coming. Through 7 games, he's thrown for 950 yards with 10 touchdowns, while also adding 360 yards with 4 rushing touchdowns. At this point in time, Haney's accumulated 2 offers from Nebraska and UNT, but is also in talks with TCU. I really expect him to take this Alito team far, I mean, they made the play deep in the playoff run last year, lost a really close game, and with him at the helm of this Alito offense, I really think they can make it.
Yeah, and sounds like a good, a nice player to kind of have on your team. Obviously, would love to see him start to pick up his recruitment. But now I'm gonna start bringing up my under the radar athlete for the week, and that is Quan Byers from Parish Episcopal High School in Dallas. Byers is a 6'7", 325 or 320-pound offensive lineman. Just look at the tape; he's a massive dude on the O line. Only a sophomore, which is the thing I think is crazy at that size. Was a 2022 state champion on that Parish Episcopal team. He's been a big part of that offensive line that has a Parish Episcopal team with one loss right now. They've taken down some huge UIL teams in Austin LBJ, China Springs. They've also taken down Alito, and with a close field goal loss to South Oak Cliff earlier in the year. He's a kid that really can maul people in the run game, but also has pretty good feet, pretty good in pass protection. So I expect him, as he starts to grow up a little bit and as he's kind of gets out and maybe goes to some camps, I think this is a guy that's really going to blow up. Obviously, he's still got 2 more years after this of high school football, but man, I think this is a hidden gem in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and I think this is definitely a guy that people need to watch out for and people should definitely start recruiting at, and that is Quan Byers from Parish Episcopal. If you or someone you know is a under-the-radar athlete, please hit us up in the comments on YouTube, hit us up in our Twitter DMs, Instagram DMs, hit us up on our personal DMs on Twitter and Facebook and Insta as well. We'd love to cover your athlete or yourself if you are someone that you believe is an under the radar athlete. But that's going to be kind of it for our show. Last thing I kind of want to get to is our shout outs for the day. So Ashton, who are you going to shout out today?
So as always, I'm going to shout out you. And obviously Josh is not here today, but I want to shout out him. He's making some really big adult moves. And so congratulations to him. But I also want to shout out, all the football parents, all the Texas high school football parents. Rain, shine, snow, sleet, or hail, y'all are out there. Y'all are supporting your kids. And from the bottom of our hearts, we really appreciate everything.
Yeah, and I'm going to shout out Josh Dubb as well. Obviously, he's making some he's doing some big things in his life right now. That's why he couldn't be here today. Hopefully, we'll be able to get him back soon. But congrats to you, Josh. Also, just want to shout out high school football in general. We're about, I believe, back half of the season, maybe 3 or 4 more weeks left. So it's going to be a crazy ending in some of these districts. Very excited to see these matchups and those district rivalry games that we always kind of have at the end of the year. Very excited for those. So that's going to be our show for the day. Please tune in next week as we'll have another show on VYPE Recruit Spotlight. But I'm your host, Jackson DePasquale. This is Ashton Lux, and we'll see y'all next week.